It's one of those stories that seems ripped from a movie script. A tale of karmic justice so perfect it feels like it just has to be fiction. This is the story of a man mocked for his job, pushed into a ring for a cheap laugh, and the moment he reminded everyone that you never, ever, underestimate the quietest person in the room. The story goes by many names online: Jerome Washington, Darnell Hughes, Marcus Williams, and the details change with each telling, which is a good sign that we're dealing with a powerful modern fable, not a documented event. There are no confirmed news reports or viral videos of the actual punch. Instead, what went viral was the idea: an arrogant MMA trainer, a quiet janitor, and a single, devastating knockout. While the names and places may be fictional, the lesson is undeniably real. It's a story about what happens when arrogance meets humility in the most public way possible, and it's become a legend online for a very good reason. Section 1, The Setting, Elite Combat Academy. To understand the story, you have to picture the world where it all goes down, a place often called the Elite Combat Academy, in retellings. This isn't just any gym, it's a temple of ego. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, leather, and ambition. It's the kind of place that costs a fortune, attracting tech execs and social media influencers who want to cosplay as warriors for a few hours a week. The soundtrack is a symphony of thuds against heavy bags, the sharp crack of shins on pads, and the grunts of men pushing their bodies to the limit. It's a world with a strict, unspoken food chain. At the top are the fighters and trainers, men who walk around like they own the place. Everyone else, the front desk staff, the maintenance crew, is practically invisible. They're just the background scenery for the gladiators at center stage. The culture is all about cultivating toughness. Weakness is a disease to be stamped out. Mercy is a dirty word. The young men training there aren't just learning to fight, they're learning a specific brand of peacocking masculinity. They're taught that the world is divided into predators and prey. You're either the one hitting or the one getting hit. It was a world perfectly designed to overlook a man like the janitor, and to empower a man like the trainer. It was only a matter of time before they collided. Every evening around 6, a man who has perfected the art of being invisible walks through the back doors. In many versions of the story, he's a man in his late 50s named Jerome Washington. He's the gym's janitor. With a slight stoop in his shoulders from a lifetime of hard work, he moves with a quiet, almost spectral grace. He's the silent reset button for the entire operation. He cleans the sweat and sometimes blood from the mats, wipes down the heavy bags, and makes the chrome equipment shine. The fighters, high on adrenaline and testosterone, barely see him. He's just part of the furniture, a human Roomba that makes their messes disappear. They step over his wet floors, drop sweaty towels at his feet, and talk right through him. Jerome never complains. He just nods, if he's noticed at all, and keeps working with a focused, methodical dignity. His invisibility is his armor. What no one knows is that the man they ignore was once somebody else. A lifetime ago, his hands were wrapped in leather and tape, and they moved with blinding speed. In his youth, the boxing gym was his sanctuary. A grizzled old trainer saw the fire in the quiet kid's eyes and a phenomenal, God-given talent in his hands. He wasn't just good, he was a prodigy, tearing through the amateur circuit to become an undefeated Golden Gloves champion. A world title seemed inevitable. But fate can be cruel. Just as his pro career was about to launch, a family tragedy forced him to make an impossible choice: chase his own glory, or be the man his family needed. He chose family. He hung up the gloves. The dream was packed away, replaced by hourly jobs and mounting bills. The trophies and clippings yellowed in a closet. He buried his past deep inside, a ghost of what could have been. And in a twist of cruel irony, he now mops the floors where other men chased the very dreams he was forced to surrender. If the janitor is the gym's ghost, the head trainer is its roaring dragon. Often called Damon Cross, he's the self-proclaimed king of the academy. He's a physical specimen covered in expensive tattoos, and he moves with the predatory confidence of a man who believes he's the most dangerous person in any room. But his arrogance is a mask for a deep insecurity. Damon was a moderately successful MMA fighter, but he never quite made it to the big leagues like the UFC. He had the look and the talk, but he lacked that last ounce of championship grit. Unable to become a true champion himself, he settled for being a tyrant in his own small kingdom. His training style reflects this bitterness. He's especially hard on the young, gifted fighters, as if to ensure none of them will ever surpass him. His most pathetic target, however, is Jerome. For years, Jerome is the subject of Damon's daily humiliation. The abuse often has a sharp, racial edge. He accidentally spills drinks on freshly mopped floors, sneering, "Clean that up." He never uses Jerome's name, preferring condescending nicknames like Old Man or worse. He sees a black man working a menial job and, in his poisoned mind, sees someone less than him. He has no idea that with every insult, he isn't just chipping away at a man's patience. He's poking a sleeping giant. Section 4, The Inciting Incident and Escalation. The day it all boils over starts like any other. Damon is in a foul mood after one of his fighters lost a match. He's prowling the gym floor, looking for someone to take it out on. He finds Jerome, who is quietly wiping down a row of treadmills. "Hey!" Damon's voice booms across the gym, and all activity stops. "I'm talking to you." Jerome turns slowly. "Yes, Mr. Cross." Damon saunters over, a cruel smirk on his face. "You know, I watch you shuffle around here, and I've been wondering. Has any of this fighting stuff rubbed off on you? Or are you just good at cleaning toilets?" A few students snicker nervously. Jerome's expression doesn't change. "I'm just here to do my job, sir." The calm, dignified response seems to enrage Damon. He gestures to the main octagon. "Today, your job is to be my new training partner." He kicks a pair of boxing gloves, and they skid to a stop at Jerome's feet. "Put them on, old man. Let's see if you can do anything besides push a mop." The whole gym is watching now. Phones are out, quietly recording. This is going to be a show. Jerome looks at the gloves, then back at Damon's smug face. He shakes his head. "No, thank you, sir. I don't want any trouble." "Trouble?" Damon roars. "This is an opportunity. I'm going to teach you some respect." He gets in Jerome's face, his voice a menacing whisper. "Get in the ring." Then he shoves Jerome. It's not a hard shove, but it's an assault. An act of dominance. And in that moment, something shifts. Jerome looks past Damon at the sea of faces, at their thirst for humiliation. He thinks of the years of swallowed pride, of biting his tongue and walking away. With a sigh that seems to carry the weight of decades, he bends down and picks up the gloves. He runs a thumb over the worn leather, a familiar feeling from a forgotten life. The murmuring in the gym dies. The air crackles. As Jerome methodically straps on the gloves, the shuffling janitor begins to fade, and the shadow of a champion begins to emerge. Section 5, The Climax, One Punch. The moment Jerome steps into the octagon, the atmosphere changes. The stoop in his shoulders vanishes. He plants his feet on the canvas, finding his center with an instinct that's been dormant for decades. The janitor is gone. A fighter is in his place. Damon, blinded by arrogance, notices nothing. He's in performance mode, bouncing on his feet and throwing lazy, pawing jabs. "Come on, Pops, what you got?" he taunts. "You gonna mop the floor with me?" Jerome doesn't respond. His eyes are calm, his breathing steady. He watches Damon's sloppy footwork, the chin held too high, the wasted energy. He sees a man who looks like a fighter but has forgotten the soul of one. Frustrated by the lack of reaction, Damon decides to end the joke. "All right, old man, lesson's over," he sneers. He lunges, throwing a sloppy, overconfident right hand, a bully's punch designed for a highlight reel knockout. It's the last mistake he'll make that day. For Jerome, time slows down. He sees the punch coming a mile away. He sees the shift in Damon's weight, the dropped left hand, the wide-open invitation. In a single, fluid motion, Jerome pivots. His body coils and uncoils like a spring. His left hand moves with the speed that had once earned him a legendary nickname. It's not a wild swing. It's a short, crisp, perfectly timed counter hook that travels no more than 6 inches. The sound of the impact is a sickening crack that echoes through the now silent gym. For a frozen moment, Damon Cross's body goes rigid. His eyes widen in pure, unadulterated shock. Then, they roll back into his head. He doesn't fall backward. His entire system shuts down at once, and he collapses in a heap, out cold before he even hits the mat. Absolute silence. The phones that were recording are now held motionless, the shocking climax captured. The smirks on the students' faces have dissolved into slack-jawed disbelief. Jerome stands over his fallen tormentor, his chest rising and falling with a single, steady breath. There's no celebration. No triumphant roar. He looks down at the man on the floor with a profound, weary sadness. He methodically unstraps the gloves and places them neatly on the mat beside Damon's still form. Then he steps out of the octagon, picks up his cleaning rag, and turns to go back to work. That simple act breaks the spell. The silence erupts into frantic whispers. Did you see that? One punch. This is the part of the story that took over the internet. The retelling spread like wildfire, with titles like MMA Trainer Bullies Janitor, Instantly Regrets It. It became more than just a fight story, it was a perfect, self-contained fable of justice. Online commenters and fight fans analyzed the described technique, with many noting that the short, perfectly timed punch wasn't luck, but a lifetime of skill delivered in 1 second. In the legend, the consequences for Damon Cross are catastrophic. The viral humiliation leads to him being fired, his career obliterated. He becomes a meme for arrogance getting its due. For Jerome Washington, everything changes. Job offers pour in, not to clean gyms, but to teach in them. He's no longer Jerome the janitor, he's Mr. Washington, the coach. The ghost has become a legend. Conclusion. Though there's no evidence that Jerome Washington and Damon Cross are real people, their story has become a powerful modern fable for a reason. It has been told and retold across countless platforms because its message resonates with a fundamental truth. It reminds us that heroes can be found in the most unlikely of places and that true strength is often quiet and unassuming. The moral is clear: never judge a person by their job, their age, or the uniform they wear. Respect is the one currency you cannot demand, it must be earned. The trainer in the story learned that lesson while staring up at the ceiling lights. The rest of us can learn it just by listening to the tale.